It is so great seeing my next guest back in action. He's going to be fighting at UFC Fight Night May 21st against Alen Amedovski. It is Joseph Holmes joining me here on the program yet again. Joe, how are you, man?
Hey, I am great, brother. It's good to be here. Good to talk with you again.
Yes, vice versa, man. Really excited to have you back on here. When did you find out about this fight? It looked like you got a full camp.
Yeah, I did get a full camp. That was awesome. I found out, I think like late February, mid to late February.
Okay, so there you go. That's always good. And obviously, you know, the debut I know didn't go your way. Was this kind of the right amount of time off from your last fight to this one?
Well, this is the first time I've ever had this much time to prepare for an opponent. So it's amazing. It's amazing to get to just not only just focus on one guy for a certain amount of time, but just focus on myself and get where I feel like I need to be and just work on all the things that I didn't do well to make them better.
And what did you learn the most from that debut against Jamie Pickett? What have you sort of learned from that you're bringing into this fight?
Well, I learned that I definitely can hang with all these guys. And Jamie Pickett was a tough, strong, athletic UFC. You can call him a vet. I was his fourth fight in the UFC. So for me to go in there and with a 2.5 week notice and go all 3 rounds with him, and I might have lost, but I held my own, and I even gave him trouble a lot of times in that fight. So I definitely learned that I'm supposed to be here, and I just needed to have certain things in a better position, like my cardio and not even just have my mindset, like to be able to just at least pretend like I'm not tired, even when I am dead tired. So I definitely learned I'm supposed to be here, man, and I just need to become more athletic, which is what I took the time to become for this one.
So what have you done? Sort of, you mentioned some of the changes. Have you done anything differently as far as your cardio, maybe adding in more strength and conditioning? What's been some of the changes you've made sort of heading into this fight?
Yeah, I added in more strength and conditioning. I usually was already doing about twice a week, but again, I only had 2.5 weeks for that fight to prepare. So I didn't have any time to like up anything once I got that call. So I definitely turned up to about 3 times of strength and conditioning a week. One of those days was like hard weight lifting, which is something I haven't done in years. And then I also hired a boxing coach, Mickey, with the Mickey team out here in Dallas. I mean, I was training with him about 3 to 4 times a week, just doing long, just like cardio boxing rounds where I'm just throwing strikes back to back, just and that would be followed by running a few miles and then doing like circuit training. So that's different for me as well. Boxers have it hard. Like we might think boxers, boxing isn't as hard as MMA, but when it comes to actual training, boxers definitely train way harder, and I got to find that out for this camp.
That's good, man. So tell me, how I know you're confident going into every fight, but you mentioned at the 2.5 weeks, you get a full camp, you get all these things that you knew you had to sort of work on, and you're feeling much better. I'm sure just getting to work on these things. How confident are you going into this fight, just knowing that you're going to be at your best? You're getting a full camp, you got all these different things going on. How are you feeling?
I mean, I'm extremely confident. I feel like I could go 5 rounds this time, and that's just not a feeling I have because I've worked harder. That's something I've proved to myself during this camp. I like timed myself at the beginning of my camp with all my runs, all the the miles, all the sprints I did. I timed myself at the beginning, and then I'm still timing myself now. And all my times have went up. With all the weightlifting I was doing, I was writing down all of my maxes and all of my how much weight I'm lifting, how many times, and all of those numbers went up. So I'm absolutely extremely confident that I'm a stronger individual, a more athletic individual, and 3 minutes or 3 5-minute rounds is nothing to me anymore. It doesn't feel like, like, oh crap, I hope I can go all 3 rounds. Like I know I can go all 3 rounds, and I'm just like excited to show, not just the fans, but all the haters who've been, who started following me, sending me negative things. That's sending someone negative things isn't going to help someone grow. Like if you're interested in watching someone grow into a better fighter, you should be interested in, sending them positive things, like at least like, give them feedback that can help them like, progress in this and not just like try and bring them down because maybe you lost money or something like that. So I'm just extremely confident to just like get in there and just go 3 minutes or 3 5-minute rounds all the way. Everybody in here I expect to be able to go that long. So I hope he can because I want to, because I want to get to fighting 5 5-minute rounds.
Absolutely. That's always the goal. Just one thing you touched on there is, the trolls and stuff. How did you deal with that after a fight? Because obviously when you win or lose, you're going to get feedback. You're getting all these people. My theory on people who do that is like they wish they could fight. So this is their way of like trying to get back at you by saying, "Oh, you suck, you lost." But that's them saying, "I wish I could do what you're doing." How have you sort of dealt with that?
Well, my girl was always telling me just kill him with kindness. So I had all these people reaching out to me for the first time, and a lot of them were nice. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people were saying nice things, and I hope you get better, and I hope you work harder this camp, and blah blah blah. But a lot of the people that were saying mean things, like I don't know, I can't even think of some of the mean things that they were saying, but I had to just kind of cancel them out. But anytime they would say mean things to me, I would just be like, man, I tried my best. I'm really sorry. And a lot of them would just be like, oh, I didn't expect you to respond. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't.
Because they want a reaction and then they win, right? So there you go. You kill them with kindness. It's like the movie Roadhouse, right? Patrick Swayze, when he's telling the bouncers to deal with the rowdy guys at the bar, he says, rule number 1, be nice. Be nice to them. Same thing with social media, I think. I don't know. That's my theory.
No, it worked for me. It definitely worked for me this time. Like, this was my first time having that type of exposure. I guess I did my contender fight, but it was definitely different after this fight. And every single person, I was just like, man, I tried my best. I'm really sorry. I'll get better for the next one, things like that. And they would all just be like, oh, I didn't realize you were going to respond. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be talking to you like that. And I just wouldn't respond after that because, now you look dumb.
Of course, they knew what they were doing. They wanted to get a reaction out of you. They wanted it to be negative, and then they could use it against you. Anyways, that's an interview in itself we could do, I'm sure, talk about that. But let's talk about your opponent here, Amedovski, 8-2 records. You guys kind of have similar records here. How do you feel like you match up against him?
I feel like we match up great. He's going to want to stand up and fight. His ground game is not the best. I feel like my ground game is one of the best, especially in my division. But he's a tough guy. I've seen him get out of some dangerous situations, and I've also seen him fold under some situations that I feel like maybe I would have known how to get out of. And I've also seen him do a lot of things where, like, wow, you don't know that escape, or, like you weren't working on that. You know what I mean? Things like that. So I feel really confident. I don't feel like he's an easy fight, but I don't feel like he's the hardest fight. So I'm just excited to go in there and hopefully go 3 rounds and just show people that, man, I'm freaking supposed to be here, and I'm earning my spot and taking his.
You talked about camp earlier, working with the new boxing coach. Has it pretty much been all at home? How have you sort of structured things? Any cross training at all this time around?
Well, I had 3 months to prepare, counting the month of the fight. So about 2.5 months to prepare. So the first month I was back home working with Mickey for the whole, 4 weeks. And for that 4 weeks, we're doing specific boxing training at least 3 times a week. Sometimes we did like 5, sometimes we did like 4, and then once we did 3. And during that time, he was just pushing me really, really hard and just working hard. And then the second month, which was last month, I was in Kansas City the entire month with Kraus and Glory MMA. Me and my girl were going back and forth, so I'd be there all 5 days, come home for the weekend so she could work, turn around and go back for 5 days. So pretty busy month. And then now that just came to a close last week. So I'm home and I'm just focusing on cutting weight and then just getting with my coach, my head coach, in sync, just for exactly what we're going to do with this guy and, how we're going to handle him.
Good stuff, man. Nice variety there in camp, which is good. So I imagine as far as your corner goes, well, James Krause will be in your corner. Who else will be in the cage with you?
Yeah, James Krause with Glory MMA is going to be in my corner, of course. Anthony Sang with SFS MMA, my head coach, he's going to be there, of course. And then my nutritionist and the love of my life, my girlfriend's going to be in my corner, of course,
nice.
As well.
Good stuff, man. And you sort of touched on it there, the weight cut. How's that going? I know you still got to cut the weight, but how's everything going? Much nicer with the full camp, right? You got plenty of time.
It's been going good. Like, I've been hanging out like less than 20 this entire time. So it's kind of hard having as much time, honestly, because you don't want to like get too low and be deprived too soon, but then you don't want to stay too high and then be stressed, for too long of a period. So it's going to take a little getting used to for me because this is my first time having this much time. But again, I'm about 16, 17 pounds out, hanging out somewhere in there, but drinking 1.5 gallons of water a day and still being able to eat and stuff like that. So by the end of the week, I plan to be about 10 pounds out so that next week's not super difficult for me and I can just knock that out with water.
Speaking of knockouts, how's this fight playing out on May 21st? How do you envision it going down?
I'm really hoping we'll go 3 rounds and I'll get a performance bonus. That's been a goal of mine for the last few months. I really want to focus on my performance and getting bonuses, and just showing I'm an all-around mixed martial artist. So I'm hoping that we can both just fight hard and, and not gas out the both of us and just, really just go at it for 3 rounds and let the judges decide, how good my performance was to give me that win. It's weird. I'm sure that sounds weird to you, but I have
No, I
plenty of
get it.
finishes. I'm trying to get mat time. So that's kind of how I see it going. But I don't know. He doesn't get out the first a whole lot, whether he wins or whether he gets finished. So I could see us going second round, and then maybe I get a stoppage in the second with a TKO or a choke.
In terms of this fight, I imagine you want to get 2 more in this year. Would that be kind of ideal as far as getting, well, actually I should say maybe 1 more in, just to get 3 fights this year? I know that's sort of the goal of every fighter.
I would like to. I have a big trip coming up in August with my lady.
Oh, cool. Where are you going?
We're going to Hawaii. Yeah.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, it's our first time going to Hawaii, so I'm super excited about that. So that kind of might hinder things for me because I don't want to take a fight in September after I've just been out, having a great time the whole month of August and stuff. So I might August, September, October, November, unless I can have a quick turnaround and fight in October, and then maybe December. I would love to get 4, but 3 is okay. I would love to get 4.
Yeah, no, that would be great, man. What anything in particular you're going to be doing in Hawaii? I don't know. Some people, they got they like staying on the beach. Some people like golfing. What do you have any sort of itinerary laid out for Hawaii yet? Oh, cool.
They have itineraries going on. We kind of threw in our 2 cents, like, oh, we want to do this. We want to go deep sea fishing. We want to go hiking. Everybody hikes when they go to Hawaii. But, some people were talking about taking a helicopter ride, which sounds okay. It's probably really expensive, but who cares? We're in the UFC. No, I'm just kidding. But we definitely want to go check out a volcano. We want to hike. We want to deep sea fish. And then the hotel we got is like a 3-4 minute walk from the beach. So we're going to spend a lot of time on the beach. I hope I come back super dark, and I'm just super excited for that.
Oh, it'll be a nice reward. So it's always nice to have a vacation to look forward to, which is great. Before we go, kind of an off the wall question here. So I'm Canadian, and obviously we love hockey out here in Canada. I was just curious. The Dallas Stars, they're in the playoffs. I know the Mavs. Yeah, they're obviously playing tonight, and then you got the Mavs in the playoffs on the NBA side of things. Is that like a big deal at all? I was just curious because I hear the playoffs are like huge where I live in Vancouver, but our team's not in it. But I was just curious, is that something that's even on your radar? Obviously, if you know the games tonight, it probably is.
Yeah, no, I like to watch hockey. I don't necessarily watch it on TV at home, but any chance I see it when we're out or, anything like that, I always want to try and just scope it out. I love the action of it and stuff like that. I heard about the game tonight just this morning, actually, when I was going to my workout. And I was like, man, I would actually love to get some tickets to that. Take my girl because she likes hockey too.
Oh, cool.
But she actually taught me a fun fact that a lot of hockey players lose their teeth. I didn't have any idea of that.
Well, it's not the majority. It's because there's fighting in hockey, right? So that's usually, and sometimes they get, the odd puck in the face, but that's usually why. But yeah, you can fight in hockey, which is the only sport you can do that outside of, combat sports, right?
Right, but only one-handed, right? You got to have one hand on them and one hand to swing.
No, you can swing both. You can square up and everything. Yeah, it's all good. So
no way, that's badass.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever Google hockey fights, you'll see some crazy. It was more prevalent back in the day. They still fight now, but it's not as common. But back in the day, they used to have guys that that's literally was their job. If the team was losing, they needed a momentum change. You'd have guys go on the ice and just try and pick a fight, and then they'd square off. It was crazy.
Same.
Yeah.
No, I love hockey though. I would love to get more into it for sure.
Cool. Well, that's good to hear. And we got to watch you fight, man. It's coming up here May 21st, UFC Fight Night. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
Oh, for sure. Thanks to my management first and foremost, Iridium Sports Management Agency. Ed Cap's the one that sets me up with you guys, and you're just phenomenal. But all of you guys with Iridium, just thank you guys so much. You don't just take care of me as a fighter, but you take care of me as a person. I can always reach out to you guys and just just know that you'll have, some answer that'll make me feel better about whatever I'm worrying about. So just for being so great, Jason and Jacob and all you guys with Iridium, I appreciate y'all. But shout out to my coaches. Anthony Salangsang with SFS MMA, and James Krause with Glory MMA. You guys are phenomenal, and I know I'm difficult to deal with, and I'm really particular, but you guys are super patient with me all the time, and I appreciate y'all. And then shout out to my sponsors who helped me with this, Matthew Malone, Jesse Vasquez, Charlie Riddle, Nani was self-motivated. All of you guys, appreciate y'all who, helped me get through this tough camp, going back and forth to Kansas City week after week, and I had to get massages and I needed to get acupuncture and I needed to get all these different things. Appreciate all y'all for supporting me and everyone who has, positive thoughts about me and wants me to succeed. I just appreciate everyone. And you, of course, brother. I always appreciate your time.